today, this lesson will be on adding and subtracting fractions for grades 4 and up. Before I get started, hi, my name is Hannah Alaro and I will be teaching this lesson. In this lesson, you will learn how to properly add and subtract fractions with both alike and unlike denominators. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to add and subtract fractions with alike and unlike denominators, including mixed numbers. Let's break it down. First, we're going to learn how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. Then, we're going to learn how to add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. Third, we're going to learn how to add and subtract mixed fractions. And last, we're going to do some review, and I'll show you some activities that you could do. So, before we get started, we have to learn the parts of a fraction. First, we have the whole number. In a mixed fraction, it shows that there are three whole parts. You see how in this picture, there are three circles that are fully shaded in? That's what this number indicates. Then we have the numerator, which is the number of parts that you have. In this, we can see that only one of the three parts of the circle is shaded in. So that's what the numerator indicates. And the denominator is the total parts that you have. You see how all of these circles are broken into three pieces? That's what the denominator shows. You see on this picture how only one of the three pieces are shaded in? That shows that there's one part that we have, one part, out of the three total parts that we have in the circle. Adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. So, in this picture, Marty ate 2 slices of pizza and Louis ate 1 slice of pizza. We're going to try to see how many pieces of pizza that they ate in total. So, the equation for this would be 2/6, which indicates that Marty ate 2 slices of pizza out of the total 6 slices of the pizza, and then plus 1 out of 6, which indicates that Louis ate 1 slice of pizza out of the 6 total slices of pizza. When adding fractions with like denominators, this one is pretty easy because you only have to add the two numerators. 2 plus 1 equals 3, and the denominators stay the same. So in total, Marty and Louis ate 3 out of 6 slices of pizza. A note is that when a fraction's numerator and denominator is equal, the fraction is equal to 1. So you see how in this fraction, the numerator and the denominator is 7. That means that it is equal to 1. The same for 4 out of 4 equal to 1. The same for any other number. 1,000 out of 1,000 equal to 1. 2 out of 2 equal to 1. Now it's time for a little challenge. It's your turn. Don't let the big numbers scare you, but you can pause this video right now and try this equation out for yourself. Have you tried it? Now, once again, we're going to do the same steps that we did for the other equation. 55 minus 15, and then keep the denominators the same. This gives us the answer of 40 over 2,000. Adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. When working with unlike denominators, things can get a little tricky, but don't worry, I broke down some steps for you. So in this problem, we have 1 over 2 minus 1 over 6. If we look at the steps that are on the side right here, the first thing that we need to do is find the common factor of the denominators. Since we can't instantly subtract right now, since we were working with two different denominators. When finding the common denominator, you just have to multiply the numbers out to see which number they get to first. So if you see what I did here, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. And if you do 6 times 1 is equal to 6, you see that the common denominator is 6. So, in order to progress, we have to multiply the numerator and denominator to make the denominators equal. And since 1 over 6 already has a denominator of 6, we're going to be working to make 1 over 2 so that they have the same denominators. So in order to do that, you see how I had to multiply 3 by 3 here to get the 6. That's what I'm going to do for the entirety of this fraction to get it with a common denominator of 6. So multiply the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. And then we get 3 out of 6. Next, add or subtract the numerator since we now have common denominators. So 3 minus 1 is 2, and the denominators are now the same. So the answer is 2 out of 6. Now it's your turn. Remember to follow these steps and answer this question. Have you tried it? Once again, we're going to look to find the common factor of the denominators. So usually when dealing with these problems, you look at the bigger number to see if the smaller denominator can multiply to something of this number. So if I put down the work here, I skipped around to see what number would closely resemble this bigger number. So if we see 8 times 8 is equal to 64 and 64 times 1 is equal to 64. So remember, now we're just trying to make this fraction so that it's equal to this denominator. So in order to do that, we're going to have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 8. After doing that, we get the fraction of 40 over 64. And now we have common denominators. So remember, now we're going to add or subtract the numerator. In this case, we're dealing with adding. So 40 plus 4 is equal to 44, and the denominator remains the same. So the final answer is 44 over 64. Adding and subtracting mixed fractions. When dealing with this, it's kind of simple. It's only adding an extra step to either adding with unlike or alike fractions. So we have this problem here. The first thing that we're going to do is add the two whole numbers, completely ignoring the two fractions that we see here. So what's 3 plus 10? It's 13. So let's just put that over to the side for now. And next, we're going to find the common denominator of these two fractions here, ignoring the two whole numbers now that we've already dealt with it. So once again, I'm going to multiply it out to see how close the 4 can get to the 12. And we can see that if we multiply the 4 by 3, we get to 12. So now we're going to multiply to make the denominators equal by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by 3. And then we'll be able to have a common denominator of 12 with the fraction 9 over 12 minus 5 over 12. So the final step is to add or subtract the numerator. So 9 minus 5 is equal to 4, and we have the same denominator. So the final answer is 4 over 12. Now we're going to join this fraction with the whole number that we solved for at the beginning of this. And then our final answer will be 13 and 4/12. Time to review. Now I'd like you to try. Remember the steps that we did for the last two problems and apply them to adding and subtracting. You can get a piece of paper now and pause this video to try these questions. Have you tried it? Well, let's see if you got any correct. For the first question, the first thing that we're going to do is add the two whole numbers, as we said before. So 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. And then we see that we have two like denominators. So this is going to be a whole lot easier. So the only thing that we have to do is add the numerators. So 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. And the denominators stay the same. So that gives us the final answer of 9, 8 over 10. For the second question, we were dealing with two fractions with unlike denominators. So remember, as we had learned, we need to make the denominators the same. And in order to do that, we need to find the common factor. So I multiplied it out here on the side. We can see that 9 times 1 is equal to 9, and 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So we can see that the common factor will be 9. So in order to make this denominator equal to 9, we have to multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. So that gives us 6 over 9. So now all we have to do is subtract the two numerators. So 7 minus 6 is equal 1. So the final answer gives us 1 over 9. If you didn't get one of these questions right, that's alright, because I still have some practicing tools that you can use. Practice makes perfect, so you can play and watch these videos to learn more. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at either of these 2 emails. This video was brought to you by Interns for Good, where volunteers are ready, willing, and able to help you. Bye!